Hey there, everybody. I am not on the screen. You don't see my mug, so you know what time that is. It is. I'm here to do today. I'm taping it on the day of Friday, March 14th. We have the total lunar eclipse, if I'm not mistaken, full moon in Virgo. And while we have sun in Pisces. So remember, we are on that Virgo Pisces line. It has a lot to do with, for those of us who maybe not that familiar with astrology, think about the things that you do on a daily basis, the practical matters, that Virgo energy, routines, really being dedicated to, the things that you do every day, your job, your life, your family, along with Pisces, the Neptune rule, dreaming, thinking about the bigger picture, thinking about the possibilities of where you want to go, right? So we got that real earthy energy with that watery energy. And you all, I've got 3 piles in front of me. You can check out what you feel drawn to. I'll share with you, I have a catalyst card for each, and I also was led to pull a gemstone for each. So see what you feel pulled to for your message. And you could feel pulled to more than one. Some people even watch all 3 when I do these. So let's go in. Pile number 1. It's this beautiful piece. I hope you can see it well. It's like a beautiful opaque blue. I don't know if it's like an agate. Somebody's going to tell me. You guys are masters with gemstones, but I want you to just vibe in on that color. And your catalyst card, it says a dog barking, and it says advice from a friend. So there's some advice from a friend. Dog barking, dog representing loyalty. All right. So think about that, pile number 1, if you're drawn to that. Pile number 2, beautiful crystal quartz with a woman who came for pile number 2. Let me get my finger out of the way there. And it says dealings or relationships with a woman. Dealings or relationships with a woman. All right. That's pile number 2. I'm also getting, Spirit is saying to tell some of you that could also be a spirit guide. It could be someone physically in your life, or this could also represent a spirit guide who comes in the form of a woman. All right, think about that. And finally, for pile number 3, we have this beautiful piece of, I think that's chrysocolla. Take a look at that if you're drawn there. And you got, dogs are coming in heavy. This is your catalyst for this one, but this one is a dog far away. And it says, what is this? It says, a distant friend is thinking of you. A distant friend is thinking of you. So maybe if there's a relationship, someone that maybe you haven't talked to in a while or whatever, but you'll see how that hits you, okay? All right, so look at that. Think about that for a minute. Dog barking, a woman, or a dog far away. And we're going to go ahead and go in. Let's push those to the side. Pile number 1. Those of you who were drawn to the blue opaque stone and a dog barking, some advice from a friend. Let's put those there to the side. And let's see. And by the way, if you are new here for one of my pick a cards, I spread and I use so many decks that I get it all on the table in the piles before I start taping, just so you're not sitting here watching me flip cards. But I do not know what's here until I get ready to actually reveal and start taping. All right. So we have, in tarot, we have the 5 of Wands. So maybe that's what the friend is coming to give you some advice about. There's some kind of conflict going on. And with the 4 of Wands, conflict around a relationship, perhaps, because 4 of Wands can very often symbolize a marriage. It is, you notice the celebration happening in that image. It very often can come as a card of marriage, commitment, the 4 pillars, like when something feels really solid, but there's some conflict around something in your life right now that maybe is not feeling solid, and that's why you need that solid advice from a friend. All right, let's keep going. We have the Page of Pentacles. This could be something that's been brewing for a while, because Pentacles move slow, and it could be whatever this dynamic is. Again, whether this is a marriage, a friendship, something long-standing, or something you're really committed to with a 4 of Wands energy. So the Page of Pentacles feels like this could be a new sort of something that's been brewing slowly for a while. in reference to how you want to deal with this conflict, or even recognizing that this conflict exists. And your fourth tarot is the Three of Swords. Notice those swords going into the heart chakra area. So this is something you all, you need that friend right now, because this is something that looks like it's been nagging at you for a little while. And it's taken a little while because of your commitment to it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a person per se. It could be a job that you're committed to, a friendship circle that you're committed to, a home that you're living in that you're now feeling like, gosh, you know, is this really where I want to be? A location that you're living in that you thought, okay, I'm here for a reason. Now you're getting some funky kind of feelings about it. But the reason for all of that is it has cost you some sort of pain, because you've got that Three of Swords, something painful, some sort of doubt, and that's what's causing this conflict. But you're ready to make a move on it, and you're going to get some advice from somebody who will help you know which way to go. You're being told, now I'm getting to your oracle cards, keep your heart open. Notice that heart chakra, that heart took a hit, and Spirit is saying, keep your heart open. And I also noticed this card is coming in Libra. Libra very often having to do with relationships, the balance of relationships, trying to find a win-win. You've got, that's a crystal. I'll save that towards the end. Perfectionism. It says fear of imperfection. Perfectionism is a big deal in Virgo energy as well, you all. So fear of imperfection, rejection, or the loss of control, unrelenting standards, criticism, micromanaging, order, to compartmentalize, or something conditional. All right, talk about this Virgo energy. This relationship, if you chose this pile, either you have held it up to a certain level of perfection, it needs to work a certain way. You're putting all of your energy and time and effort into it, but it's not been paying back the dividends, emotional dividends or otherwise, that you feel like you should have and be entitled to. But the perfectionism part is, I think it's a caution. Again, that could be what that friendship, that dog barking, saying, listen, advice, because you could be so far in it that you do have a certain expectation and a certain standard, and it hurts you if this relationship doesn't stand up to it, right? And that's what's causing that conflict. So now we have pollution, infection, parasite, poison. That's the downturn of your attitude towards this job, person, home, place, whatever this is, whatever area in your life that's bringing that conflict because of grief. But the source of it, the root of it, is because there were certain expectations you had that did not get met. Okay? It says, I am a temple, holy, divine, and sacred. And man, do I love the artwork on that. Look at that. This is in direct contrast to that pain. And there's a recognition here. I also think that's where that Page of Pentacles comes in, because there's a recognition here of what you really deserve. And while the caution may be, don't be too much of a perfectionist. Don't drive yourself too hard to try and meet somebody else's expectations, but also being aware of what your own expectations are, because you are all of that. And then some. And don't let gender aside, however you identify, it's the vibe of that energy that you're seeing. Head thrown back, recognizing self-worth. I am a temple, holy, divine, and sacred. Now, you've got duality here. And it says, do not forget about the dual nature of people. Don't lose your vigilance. The dual nature of people. This ties to that perfectionism, you all. There's a little bit of, I won't say forgive and forget energy going on here, but there is some recognition of a wrong that was done, this pollution, this toxic sort of energy Someone or something, whether it's a job situation, you will know, but it is some situation in life that has harmed you, caused you some doubt, caused some inner conflict that you are waking up to. And Spirit is saying, keep your heart open, because it was meant to teach you a lesson about the duality of the situation or the person. Nobody's perfect. Going back to that perfectionism, duality. People can be, people can be sweet as pie, and then some days, sour as a lemon. There's that, but it all falls back to you understanding your own divinity. I want to keep going. You've got a planetary wave, a soul mission, trust the inner call, and a soul team. You're being redirected back between this and this, you all. It's making me, Spirit, your guides are saying you're being redirected back to pulling yourself out of the mundane aspects of what's happening in your life right now. And your way forward, the healing, your way forward is to reconnect to the divine, to see yourself as a source of the divine, but also to get back in touch, your soul mission, and trust your inner calling, your soul team, coming to reaffirm that you are a part of the divine. That's why they want you to keep your heart open, but also recognizing that sometimes people will fail you. And maybe that's going back to your catalyst card. That's what your friend is going to remind you of. You have, when I follow my heart, I am abundant, successful, and free. Isn't that a beautiful compliment to this other message that you got from a different deck? You know how I mix up my decks. That's how I know Spirit is talking. When you can pull from 13 or 14 decks and see a common thread, different decks, different creators, right? So there you are. Keep that heart open. And then when you follow your heart, you are successful and free, abundant, successful, and free. That truly is where Spirit is trying to lead you through this eclipse energy. You have alchemize. Makes me think of that duality card that you got as well, because it says what Spirit is saying here is you are going to go through this eclipse energy is going to prompt you to take the duality. When you alchemize something, you take something in the form that it currently is, and you mix it up to hopefully improve it and make it something better, make it something that can be of use. And so that's what's happening. Whatever this dynamic is, that's this relationship or way of life or job or home that you've been committed to, there's something that you are learning within yourself, how to shift it. And you're going to do it without feeling like it's got to be just so. There's some flexibility here. And your flexibility comes from tuning in to Spirit and recognizing it's not just about dollars and cents. It's not just about what they said versus what they did. It's about recognizing that we're all that soul mission. We're all on this earthly plane, subject to failures and heights, wonderful traits and flaws, all of it together. You've got eruption. Oh, talk about eclipse energy. I'm not feeling, oh, wait a minute. Let me back down, because I just looked down and saw your other one that came right behind this. This is a perilous realm. All right. Now, when I look at those two, a perilous realm with an eruption, with this pollution, and keeping in mind that you had that heartache card. This lunar eclipse has you ready to cut bait or fish, or what is it? Fish or cut bait. Like really, fish or cut bait in this situation. And the thing is, they just want you to be realistic. Like, don't let your emotions rule you to the point where there is that complete and total meltdown and eruption, where you just go off, or you make a hasty decision about moving or quitting a job or switching up on a relationship or entering a new relationship too soon that you're not ready for. But your last card, well, I've got a stone here that I'm going to share with you in a moment. It does say this is a timing element. It's time to move forward. That brings me back to remember when I started the reading and I first saw this right here, I felt like this was something that had been building for a while. Because again, Four of Wands, it takes time to build that. There's a commitment to that. And there's a reason for this conflict. So, but the bottom line is it's time to move forward. And maybe that is the eruption, but not eruption as in something destructive, more eruption as in recognizing if I continue to do this, I'm operating in the shadow. I'm operating in this pain. I'm continuing a process or a habit of being in something that doesn't serve you. And so keep your heart open. It is time to move forward. And a gemstone that will help you is cinnabar. It says eternity, power, and poison. Cinnabar can be, from what I understand, it can be toxic if I don't know if it's if you shower in it or wear it too long, but there's some, if you're familiar with cinnabar, you know what I'm talking about. If not, you might want to look it up. But look at that power element as well. And that's what I'm pulled to here. There's something in that stone that connects you, or I'm not sure if they call it a stone. It actually is more of a, it has an interesting texture. I have a piece in my box somewhere, but I don't have time to get up and get it. But look into it. It's a very interesting stone. It's very sexy in a way. But that is what you're being called to use. Eternity, I wonder too, if that because that brings back to you are a temple, and this soul mission, you know, aligning with your soul. This cinnabar energy will help you do that, because there's a desire to connect with your heart so that you can be abundant and free. Your spirit is saying it's time to go ahead and do that and move on. But there's also, you've got to do it in a way that you don't go scorched earth and burn the whole thing down. Okay? All right, you all. I hope that was helpful. I wish you the best, and by all means, keep your ears out and eyes open for who that friend is who might give you some really solid advice right around this time. All right? All right, moving on now to pile number 2. Those of you who were drawn to the quartz and this woman. And remember, when I saw that, Spirit said that woman could be in flesh or even a spirit guide, a feminine energy spirit guide. All right, we've got a 5 of Cups coming in hot with the Emperor. Taking charge of your emotions, taking charge of something that you have felt conflicted about. In terms of, for some of you, this could even be in terms of how you operate in divine feminine energy in relation to masculine energy. Who's really in charge? And if there's been an emotional struggle, because you, on the one hand, you are perfectly capable of taking charge and being a leader. On the other hand, that could be challenged in your current circumstance. And it could be that you're bucking up against some form of authority. This is especially true for those of you who may be in relationships where you're navigating your power and that other person's power. We have the Knight of Swords and Death. And the 4 of Swords. So 2, in this deck, 3 cards came. Normally I pull 2 from one tarot and 2 from another. I didn't even realize that 3 came out of this deck. 4 swords, getting clear on who's in charge and why. Death, it's going through some sort of transition and a rebirth of your power and your leadership. And this Knight of Swords is, how do you, especially next to that 4 swords, is how do you stand up for yourself? How do you articulate that? How do you get comfortable with exercising power and or cooperating with someone who also has a leadership role in your life without feeling like you've got to you've got to take whatever they give. This death card ruled by Scorpio is really important because I even love the way it's sort of a baby kind of figure, or a tucked female figure surrounded by those beautiful flowers, ready to regrow. For some of you, this is job related. I just heard that. For some of you, it's job related. And it's, where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? What is because the Emperor can also be a card that indicates a future vision. Where do I go next? How do I build and establish myself? We have a new moon in Scorpio, go deeper. That's the second time we're seeing Scorpio energy. You got that death card with Scorpio energy as well. So some of you could be Scorpio sun, moon, arising. But also, this is something has happened. If you chose this pile, something has happened either to you or to someone you're close to that is causing, it's a transition period. Either something has ended and it's making you have to really go deep to get clear, Four of Swords, on what the next moves are going to be. Knights are movement, Knight of Swords. So I can't just jump out here and take crazy moves. I got to know what I'm doing. It needs to make sense. Scorpio energy gets to the root of something. Also, I love that saying root. The body is the root in this image, right? That tree is growing out of the body. So you are the root. But you're being called to go deeper. Before you make your next move. That's why you've got this Four of Swords. Spirit is saying there's something that you need to get really, really clear on about what the real source of this struggle, this emotional struggle. And notice all this watery energy. You got these two Scorpio references. Scorpio is water, right? So you've got a lot going on with you right now emotionally. And your way through it is, I don't want to say intellectually, but it is like pushing the emotions aside for a moment and getting logical, because that's also a signal of Emperor energy, that masculine, think it through, look before you leap. You have a gemstone here. I'll save that towards the end. You have a rendezvous. Meeting, dating, romance, chase, pursue, attraction, and seduction. I like that though with this Scorpio energy as well. We know that Scorpio can be extremely intimate in its energy. It rules the sexual organs. So part of this could be that you are either in a situation or on the verge of a situation where you're ready to go into a relationship after having dealt with some disappointments, but it's got to be done in a different way. You're ready to be rebirthed. You're ready for intimacy. You're ready for, for passion and romance and all of that. But it's got to be a certain person and it's got to be done a certain way. And you're not quite clear on what that is yet. Now you get hot, popular, focus, and explosive. This situation could be really deep. I see hot as an extension of this passion. And because Scorpio doesn't do anything halfway, this could be a very, very passionate situation that you're in or are considering, or one that will come your way. But what is very important is that, because between that Scorpio energy and now these two cards coming up, Spirit is saying don't let yourself be led by physicality. Don't let the passion overtake you. Definitely check in with your head. All right? You've got sacred rest, retreat, balance, and restore. Think about that in relation to that Four of Swords that you got as well, right? In terms of getting clear. So that's a beautiful compliment because you got all this hot Marsy kind of energy. Scorpio co-ruled, if I'm not mistaken, by Mars/Pluto. So you've got this real hot, ready to go energy, but also this time to rest and be wise with the owl. And I love that it's coming with that beautiful full moon because that's what we're experiencing right now. And blood moon at that, so you got all this hot passion. You know, your emotions right now, if you chose this pile, your emotions right now are sizzling, or either they're sizzling right beneath the surface. And so it's not about cooling off. It's just about being really clear before you go too deep. Because I get the impression if you chose this pile, when you go in deep. You give it all. You give it your all, whatever that is. All right. You've got home-based. Home is the harbor of the soul. Change your environment. Change your environment. Because that could be why you need this resting period. There's something stagnant in your home or some sort of energy in your home. It could be something as simple as needing to sage. It could be something as simple as moving some artwork around on the walls. But there's something around shifting the energy that gives you clarity so that you can move deeper. You have the king tide that comes. Plenty, prosperity, and receiving the fullness of life. And notice all of that watery energy coming with the Scorpio energy as well, ruled by water. A king tide, no less. I mean, it's ready to, whatever this next phase is for you all, it's ready to come in, and it's ready to come in deep and heavy, like explosive, like really taking you by storm. And that's not a bad thing. There's just one little, like making sure that you are ready, making sure emotionally you're ready, deal with that 5 of Cups, making sure emotionally you're ready, mentally you're ready, physically you're ready. Setbacks do not define me. They nudge me into a new awareness. See, that's confirmation. All you have to do, there is so much power in your ability to love and create the environment that you want. And I love that this home-based card came as well, because that, for me too, that takes me out of the realm of business for you all, pile number 2, and really I'm honing in on personal relationships that would impact the way you live in your home and who you live with. And the dating part, that meeting somebody and dating, you know, this could be something that you're ready or contemplating moving into, that this lunar eclipse is going to really push you in, nudge you in that direction. I love this for you. You have established sanctuary. That has to do with that home energy as well, and changing and making sure that your home right now is conducive to love. It's conducive to passion. It's conducive to growing who you are. How do you feel in your environment? Are you ready to welcome someone else into your environment? Are you at home if you were to go into someone else's environment? Are you in charge of your feelings? Or are you afraid of being swept away? Too quickly, too much, too soon, too not ready. That's and they're saying those setbacks don't define you. They nudge you. That's what this 5 of Cups is about. You're being reminded you don't have to repeat the same mistakes, and you won't repeat the same mistakes. That's why you need to go through this period of rest and cleansing and establish your sanctuary. Because wisdom. You've gained wisdom through all of this, and you are gaining wisdom through this period of time. This shift of learning how to control your passions, your emotions, the role that you play in a relationship, especially a romantic relationship, this is taking your power back. and so that you can get ready to move forward decisively, because that knight came in swords, not cups, not wands. It came in swords, being rational, being clear, being wise with that sacred west, the wisdom card that you just got, those two, being wise in your next choices. You have a grassland, open expanse, grazing grounds, and sunlit grass. Symbolically, Spirit is saying, because things are about to get really wide open for you all, pile number 2. Like there's when the dust settles and this home, when you've gone through this cleansing and gotten clear, it's like wide open pastures. Where you want to go, who you want to go with, how, sunshine and green skies. It's really a good omen. And the thing is, because you will have reached a certain stage in your wisdom. And it's because you had this period of rest. This too is a period of rest, even as it grows, even as it prepares for growth. And your final card, this is a timing element, and it says patience. It's not time yet. I love that. That goes so well with the dynamic that we're seeing here, because you have that sacred rest so that you can get that wisdom going, so that you can really sit and be confident in your wisdom. 4 of Swords is all about patience. It's not time yet, because there is still some examination that you are doing around your passions and your control, your self-control, your desires, the setbacks that you may have experienced. And this all goes back to this woman energy, because and quartz amplifies anything it touches. There's an opportunity here for you to revamp and rebirth your approach to intimacy and your intimate relationships. And there's some wisdom that you've gained, and what you need to do now, they're saying patience, it's not time yet, because you are establishing sanctuary within your home and within yourself, within your environment and yourself. Your bedroom and your bathrooms are also very, very important right now, where water runs in your bathrooms. So taking baths, taking showers, using that time to really say your prayers and cleanse from a deeper spiritual level, putting perfume on your sheets, or making sure that your where you sleep feels very, very very clean and cleansed and restful and peaceful. Okay. And your gemstone that will help you right now is jade, and it says endurance, ceremony, and legacy. Get you some jade. We know that jade is also usually one of the stones associated with abundance. In this situation, I think that there's this endurance, ceremony, and legacy. Endurance, patience, it's not time yet. Endurance, the rest that you are having at this time, or advised to have, so that you get here, because this is really what's going to happen. It's going to break wide open for you. If you have been wanting to date or be ready for love again, or get to that next phase in life where you feel that you are in control, or you know that you are in control to pursue your passions, this is that training ground, and jade will help you. It gives you the endurance, because you got to be patient. There's a process that you're going through, and this lunar eclipse is helping to shift you, literally shift you from one way of being into another. And it's going to be deep. It's going to be deep. You got that really strong Scorpio energy. It's going to be deep. It's going to be lasting. It's going to be, Scorpio's also fixed energy. So this is something that for you, pile number 2, this next phase of a relationship that gives you passion is lasting. So that's why they want you to be patient and get ready for it and not do anything hasty. Okay. All right. And finally, for those of you who chose that pile number 3, the chrysocolla and the dog, some sort of a distant friend is thinking of you. Interested to see what comes from this pile. We have the Lovers. Uh-oh. And I got to cover it up. This deck gets a little grown. Put the finger over there. Okay. So we've got the Lovers with the Hierophant. Choices and relationships with someone who meant something. This distant friend. This is someone who meant something to you or still means something to you. With the Ace of Wands. Is there a rekindling of something going on here? Ooh, and the High Priestess. Okay. Thinking of you. You all might be about to hear from, or you may be inspired to reach out. Like your intuition sparks you to reach out to someone from the past. And chrysocolla is a beautiful healing energy if you were drawn to that, because there's something that's ready to be renewed. The Ace of Wands, that's the potential for something to be renewed in a really powerful way. And it does feel a little spiritual here, because the Hierophant very often does represent our spiritual lives, the traditions we believe in, the teachers, the mentors, the authority figures, in particular in a spiritual way. And Wands is a deeply spiritual aspect, as is the High Priestess. If you have a relationship with someone, and it says distance, so it could even be distance meaning time. It doesn't mean they necessarily have to live physically in a different, far away from you, but it could be the emotional time, or that it's been a long time creating distance between you and this person. Interesting. So take a breather, Cancer energy. Take a breather. This feels like a reconnection. And I think this breather is, don't go in, don't reconnect, picking up where things left off. It's like taking the breather is like a reset. This feels like a reset to me. Again, with that Ace of Wands, new, potentially new, because there's something that you don't know about that person, or that person doesn't know about you. There's something to be rediscovered. Put that over there. There's your gemstone. We'll get to that towards the end. Partnerships. There's harmony here. Partnerships, strong unions, and a mutual exchange, reciprocity. All right, you're getting a clear message about this relationship. Harmony. This was important to you, pile number 3. Whoever this is, and it's karmic. It's, we talk about sometimes about soul contracts, because I covered her up because her little hiney is out there, but I'll tilt it this way. All right, so the Lovers. This is a really, really important relationship. And remembering too, dogs are about loyalty. They are about family. They are about what is unconditional, unconditionally loving each other and ourselves. You have a collection here. Unique, antique, and sample. Collection. I wonder if you have something from this person. This feels like something that either you gave them or they gave you. This is a physical, tangible thing. And this also could have to do with a group that you both were involved in. Because remember, the Hierophant can sometimes represent churches, fellowship, communities, covens, if you're into, the witchy poo thing. Like it can represent groups of people who come together for a spiritual purpose. That draws me back to that High Priestess as well. And these partnerships, these strong unions. This is very important for you, pile number 3. If you find yourself really thinking about this person, or you are contacted by someone who's been thinking about you, even if there's whatever the reason was that distance has occurred, I think Spirit is saying, take a breather. Don't just automatically go, what are you doing calling? What do we possibly have to talk about? There's some purpose for it here. And doggone if you didn't just get radical acceptance, embrace non-judgment, and release control. Radical acceptance. Embracing non-judgment and release control. If this situation, this person or group, you felt judged, it could be something that's coming back around to you through this lunar eclipse that's going to help you recognize that you are accepted. It's a reset, that Ace of Wands. There's a reset. You have alchemy here. Using witchcraft, occult, and learning God's secrets transform the situation. I think that's also why you have that High Priestess here. Their Spirit is saying, your guides are saying, you should use the tools at your disposal to alchemize this relationship. Whether it was a relationship to a group or a relationship to a particular teacher within that group, a particular partnership, because you've got that Lovers and this harmony. The Lovers is harmony. The Lovers is also very often soul contracts between people. And it doesn't have to be romantic. You can have soul contracts with teachers. You can have soul contracts with business partners. You can have soul contracts with family members. But there's something here that you're changing. And you're meant to use your tools, using witchcraft, the occult, and learning God's secrets. Don't let that witchcraft and occult stuff, that it gets demonized way too often in modern culture. In old world values, those are their tools. They're tools. Anything can be used for negative, but it is not negative in and of itself. But of course, many of you, if you're connecting here with me, you already know that. I'm preaching to the choir. Okay, we have the Mother of Salt Waters, passion, wild love. Open your heart and let love in. Going back to that Ace of Wands. Partnerships, strong unions, salt waters, healing. The Mother of Salt Waters. And someone who's thinking of you. Wild love. Open your heart and let love in. Radical acceptance. You're ready to level up, pile number 3. There's a lot that you have learned, and through this relationship, this partnership and connection, it taught you a lot about life, about love, and maybe you had to take a breather. If this is pointing to the past, you had to take a breather. But it's coming back around to you now. The fastest way to fulfillment is to live my values. You don't have to question any longer. If you did, if this was something where the connection, you valued this person's or this group's opinion so much that you changed part of yourself. Now that's what that radical acceptance is about, is saying, I don't have to change who I am to fit within this dynamic, because my values, the fastest way to fulfillment is to live my values. And this connection could be part of what you got from this pile number 3, was to learn radical acceptance of yourself, as well as when you deal with groups and teachers, recognizing that you you are entitled to that radical acceptance. And that's a healing process that you've had to go through. But it in an interesting way, it's making you more passionate about the person that you are becoming, the values that you have, this mother of salt waters with those values. That is your fulfillment. You have Kiss the Muse. All right now. I'm going to put that there with the Lovers. This is falling in love with the person that you have become. And ultimately, the greatest soul contract that you have is the contract that you have with your highest self, with your infinite self, with your soul. And there's some teachers that we all have, but I'm speaking that this is your message. There's some teachers that have come in this lifetime to teach you a lot about partnerships and about passion. And you've had to learn some things through that high priestess energy. But it's about what really fulfills you. And it circles back to you. You are your own authority. You are becoming the master teacher. And maybe that's why when this person circles back, or this person who's been thinking of you, is because it's a recognition that you have leveled up. You're not the novice who is seeking learning or love or passion or understanding. You are now the muse. This is really interesting. You have destruction. And that's the past. That's not even hard to figure. That's the past. It is the old version of you that may have felt subject to someone else's authority, someone else's teaching, someone else's wisdom and knowledge, because you were soaking it up. But that's been done. It's served its purpose. And that's why you've got this mother of salt waters coming in and sort of washing all of that away. You have a workspace, productive environment, a creative zone, and a technology hub. You may use all of these lessons that you've learned, becoming your own guru, quote unquote, understanding the dynamics of wisdom and passion and learning and soul contracts, groups that you partner with and become a part of. There is something where you can utilize that in the work that you will do moving forward. And you will know what this was about, this whole message, by the next new moon. So when is that? A couple of weeks, right? This is a full moon. So Spirit is saying, give yourself some time. You might want to go back and even do a screenshot of some of these cards and some of these messages, because this is deep, and it has a lot to do with your life mission and your life purpose being renewed. That going back to that Ace of Wands and that High Priestess. Between the High Priestess and the Hierophant, these are two really powerful, sacred knowledge connected energies. And it's how you partner and who you partner with to activate those energies. But at the end of the day, it's on you. You had to take a breather, perhaps, from a relationship in the past. That's why they're coming back. Or even if they don't physically come back and contact you, or you don't contact them, spiritually in this lunar eclipse, your spirit is bringing back your memories of what that connection was. Because you are getting ready to go level up to your next. You are becoming the master teacher. You decide who to partner with and how that goes, how that works for you. That's your radical acceptance. And that's the alchemy. That's you using the witchcraft, the occult, and learning God's secrets. Tell me, what does the High Priestess do if not know God's secrets? What does the Hierophant do if not know God's secrets? Both in the divine feminine and divine masculine realm. I'm done on that, y'all. I love it. I love it for you. It's work, though. You got your work cut out for you. You're no joke. You are. Between these two energies, this tells me that you are master healers, master teachers, meant to walk a very deep spiritual path. But that radical acceptance is understanding it's your path. Your path does not duplicate any other teachers or someone who you may really admire, have learned from. Your path is not theirs. They were placed in your path, that lover's contract. They were placed in your path for a reason, but now you're moving forward, all right? And a stone that will help you at this time is onyx. And the onyx says memory, layers, and union. Memory, layers, and union. The memory of these teaching, the layers of understanding that you're getting, leveling up and going back to union. I think this is divine union as well as union, how you continue to partner with others moving forward. All right. Ooh, that was a great message. I felt it anyway. I hope it was helpful to you and for you. Let me know. And that's it. I'll talk to you all really soon. Okay. Enjoy this energy. Bye-bye.